took longer to get the wiper arm out of the packaging than it did to put it on. Hi, I'm Cliff, and this is my garage. And if this is your first time joining me, thanks for dropping by. Today, I want to talk about just a simple bit of DIY maintenance that you can easily do in your car that's going to make a big difference in your basic everyday driving. And that's changing your windshield wipers. Now, a lot of people, quite frankly, put this off. Their windshield wiper is falling apart, bits are coming off, it's not working very well. And they put off because they just simply don't know how, because it's not real apparent when you just look at the windshield wiper how to do this. But after today, you'll know how, and it's really, really simple. Honestly, anybody with two thumbs can handle this. You got this. Now, I'm going to assume that your car uses what's called a J-hook connector. And probably 99% of cars produced in the last quarter century use J-hook connectors, at least on their front windshield wipers. It's really common. I own right now 5 different cars. Every one of them uses J-hook connectors for the front windshield wipers. Now, back windshields are a little different. You'll have to investigate your car's mechanism. A lot of them do use J-hooks, but some of them use something different. And I'll show you here a little later. I'll show you a little later the one that the Honda Fit uses, and it's a little different, but it's still super easy to change out. Now, of course, you're going to have to get windshield wipers appropriate for your vehicle. Cars use different size windshield wipers. A lot of the times, the windshield wipers for the passenger side and the driver's side are two different lengths. I think I've got a couple of cars that they're two different lengths, a couple of cars that have the same length on each side. And then I've got, well, there's another car that's not mine, but I work on quite a bit. It has a single wiper. That's all it has. So there's only one wiper blade. In terms of quality and price of a wiper blade, there is a huge range going from really like $5 wiper blades up to you could probably spend $70 or $80 on a single wiper blade. And in general, the more expensive the blade, the better it's going to perform. With the more expensive blades, you're going to get better materials like silicone blades versus natural rubber. And there's going to be a lot more engineering into the design of the blade, beam versus I forget what the other type is called. And it all has to do with the engineering of how well the wiper blade works. Some of it is aerodynamic, using the wind force to push the blade down versus floating off of the windshield. Some of it is the design of the blade and its ability to actually wipe and cast water off versus just skimming off the bulk of the water but leaving a film, or actually the blade scoops up the water, but the water actually flows over the blade and just spills right back onto the windshield. So of course, that's not real effective. In general, like I said, the more expensive the blade, the better the performance and the longer the life. Right now, I'm kind of partial to these Bosch Icon blades. They're well made, it's a good quality, the price is sort of mid-range, not super cheap, not super expensive. It uses a modified rubber, so it isn't the super expensive silicone, but it's not the cheap and short life, just pure natural rubber either. It's a modified rubber that works well, lasts a good long time, and it's a nice balance between price and performance. To start the job, we need to get access to the windshield wipers. Now, all my cars, the windshield wipers are right out here in the open. You just grab them and start working on them. There are some cars, however, where the windshield wipers, I guess for aerodynamic reasons, they tuck in underneath the trailing edge of the hood, or there's some kind of a cowling piece that they hide behind. In that case, you probably need to go like into your vehicle's menu system and put the windshield wipers in what's called maintenance mode or maintenance position or something like that. Basically, it's just going to jog the motor a little bit and pull the windshield wiper up so that you can get access to it. Here, it's just reach down, grab the windshield wiper, and start working on it. Okay, I've given you the best view I can with the camera on this hook connector. And what we're going to do is back on this side, you're going to find a little tab poking out, and you're going to pull that up or this way towards the top of the wiper blade. And you push that or pull that this way, and then take the entire wiper blade and pull it back. Once you pull it back a little bit, it's released. You don't have to hold the tab anymore, and then just keep pulling, and it comes off. And you can see the little J hook, or I guess it's probably is really these days just called a hook connector. Back in the day, they were called J hooks. Another thing you might find is that when you go to take off your wiper blade, there's like some kind of a clamshell or a covering. And in fact, the Bosch wipers I'm going to replace it with have that. And you just need to look at the instructions or figure out, usually there's some way to squeeze or release something that will cause that cover to rotate up out of the way or just simply come right off. So again, since I've got it on here demonstrating, just push that connector, pull it back a little bit, and then pull it the rest of the way off. Oh, and here, let's see if I can show you a little clearer. There is that little tab I was talking about. You're going to take your fingernail and just push that up like that in order to release the wiper blade off the J-hook. Now here on the replacement Bosch blade, you can see one of these like clamshell covers is just decorative. In this case, you just take and squeeze the two sides, and it pops loose and exposes the J-hook connector. You route the arm through the opening here and hook it on to the pivot point in here. So we just route it through there, get it into, and it snaps on, and then we just snap that down, and we're done. Just repeat this on the other side. The back windshield is even easier. Just lift it up and turn. That disengages a pair of pins from this little slot here, and then there's another pin that goes in this big hole. You might have to push it that way a little bit, but it disengages the pin and it just slides off. This pin, big one, goes into that big slot, and then there's a pin or a little nub on each side that engages this groove. There's one groove on the top and one on the bottom. The replacement, just make sure you've got the right orientation. You've got the big pin going into the large slot, and the little pins are on that direction. Just slide it in, get the large pin into that large hole, and just kind of holding it in that direction, rotate it around, and you're done. Took longer to get the wiper arm out of the packaging than it did to put it on. And that's all there is to it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, before you go down there, click on that thumbs up button. Let YouTube know that you enjoyed this episode and that you found it valuable. And while you're down there, if you're not one of my subscribers, I'd really appreciate it if you would click on that big red shiny subscribe button. Both of those things are completely free and they really help with growing the channel. I'm also over on Instagram and Facebook. I'll give you links to those on the video description below. I'd really appreciate it if you join me over on those platforms. I'll be posting some stuff on there that's more like behind the scenes, upcoming stuff, just things going on that don't make it into the YouTube videos. And then finally, if you want to keep up with all the stuff I'm doing in the garage here, I'm going to be doing stuff with the Cayman track car, basic car maintenance. I'll be doing some electrical stuff. I'm going to show you real soon how to repair an incredibly expensive Vitamix blender for like 20 bucks. I learned that recently. I want to share it with you. Anyhow, if you want to keep up with all that stuff, go down there and click on that bell icon. That turns on notifications for this channel, and that way YouTube will let you know every time that I post something new from here in Cliff's Garage. I'll see you next time.